This is always like the most nerve-wracking part. Ooh. Oh no. Ta-da! We are going to be road tripping to Oregon from Kansas tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the video. I am making tumblers today. I will be sublimating skinny tumblers for a wholesale customer, and I thought I would just take you along with me. A few videos back, you will have seen I did my very first tumbler since being back as a small business owner, getting my business back after I moved from Oregon to Kansas. And I did my very first sublimation tumbler after that move. And it was for this customer. It was a Elementary Instruments musically minted tumbler, and I made it just to test it, just to see if the printer was working properly and if I needed to change any settings. And I had just done it right after I purchased ink for my sublimation printer and reset it up. I ended up giving that tumbler to the business owner that made the pattern that I was using, and when she came here to do some work. So she decided that she needed to sell it in her shop. So she asked me to make her some more tumblers. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm going to be testing out the pattern because in that original video, you saw that the seam just wasn't good, but I wasn't focused on that. I was just focused on making sure that it printed, the quality of the print looked good, and it functioned the way it should be. So now today I'm going to be focusing on making that pattern exactly how I want it, making that seam as close to perfect as possible. And I think I have the design done. So now it's time to actually test it out. So this is always like the most nerve-wracking part, the testing phase, because unfortunately it's a part of the production process and the manufacturing process. You have to product test. You have to make sure it's gonna work. And so that's what I am going to be working on. And with that can come a little bit of waste, because you have tumblers that just don't look good. Fortunately, there is a market for seconds items, and a seconds item is an item that has imperfections. Some people will still purchase and use those items if they get a discount on it because it's not 100% good to go. So the one that I sent to her, and I'll share a little clip on the screen for you so you can see what it looked like. It had white around the top and I think around the bottom, but then also the seam just wasn't good. It cut off some of the design. So I'm hoping that I can eliminate that with this new design that I did. It's the same pattern, I just scaled it a little bit differently and tried to get the repeat to end where it should end so that nothing was really cut off. I think some of the little maraca things the very edge might get cut off, but I also have to test how it wraps around the tumbler. So I'm going to print a test right now on regular computer paper just so that I can get the fit correct. And then once I think I have nailed that part, then I'll be going back through and printing it on sublimation paper and actually pressing the tumbler. So let's see what I can print out and if it's gonna work. I still have a whole bunch of boxes that I haven't dealt with after the move, and so trying to maneuver around the office when I have all of these is not ideal. But I need to get to this, and I need to get to my sublimation or my heat press on the other side. So it's just easier if I move everything out of the way to the other side of the office today. I'm just loading in some plain computer paper so that I can test the fit without having to waste my sublimation paper. And actually, I think I'm gonna print the design on the normal printer first so I don't waste my sublimation ink. I'm pretty sure, so the reason I hesitated is because there's specific software that I use to print the design through the sublimation printer. And I'm not sure if that affects the size when printing it through like the normal printer. So I'm actually really curious. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna print one through the sublimation printer and one through the normal printer to see if that matters. So you can cut, this is the back of the paper, so you can kind of see through it. And I have both sheets laying on top of each other, and it looks like they're pretty much exactly in the same place. I printed this one on a normal printer at full color and everything, and I did not mirror it. The Sublimation printer automatically mirrors the images. And then I printed this one on the Sublimation printer with Sublimation ink. That's why it's so much lighter, because the process of sublimation, it's gonna get a lot darker once it heats up and gets on the tumbler. But that doesn't matter for this. It's plain printer paper. I'm just testing the fit so that I don't have to waste sublimation ink. If I need to do more tests, I can just print it on my normal printer. And it looks like it's exactly the right size. So I printed this at 100% on the normal printer. So I can do that now, and I can even do a draft, because all I care about are the edges to see where it falls on the tumbler. I do need to chop off the edges though, so let's go do that right now. It still overlaps. I don't know how well you can see that. Can you see where it's overlapping on the paper? So it's like maybe 1/8 of an inch off. So that gives me enough information to play with, change the design, reprint, and try again.
Going. How'd you do?
Not bad. I think I finally, after like several iterations of printing out the design and making sure it was perfect, I think I'm finally got it. So
nice. Do you have to like line up the pattern and everything?
Yeah. Yay!
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Bye. All right, so I just got off a co-working session, and that went really well, and I was able to like just, it's helpful to just like focus, and sometimes like having somebody else in the room, so to speak. I mean, we're on mute, which is fine, but having somebody else there, I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bit more productive and focused. So I've heated it up. I've got my tumbler out. I think the design is good to go. I'm going to print it now. It might be a little short, but we're gonna go with it and see. I do also have these sleeves. Where are they? Here they are. I have these sleeves that I could heat up and put around the tumbler, and it's supposed to help the edges at the top and bottom. And I do have a heat tool that I could use to shrink this. It's essentially shrink wrap. I could shrink wrap this around the tumbler, but I think I want to try this first and see how it does. I'm gonna have to use a lot of tape is the only thing. So if I use these, I wouldn't have to use quite as much tape, because I would tape the edge, but then I would shrink wrap this to get the top and bottom. Actually, I think I might try it. I'm gonna try something new before I do this. I'm gonna turn the heat press off because I just turned it on so that I could do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this first, get it pressed, see how it comes out. And then I'm gonna take a break for lunch because I'm starving. All right, so I've got the tumbler taped. It's such a light blue, it's hard to see the design on the top and bottom. There might be a little bit of a white edge up here, like barely. But you know what? These are handmade, so. So now I have that taped. I think I'm gonna slip it into one of these sleeves. And then it's supposed to So it's got an overhang on the edges, so then when you heat it up, it's supposed to shrink around those. And then it has an easy peel tear away thing there. I am concerned about the seams on the edges. I wonder if those will shrink too. Only one way to find out. Now I have to dig out my heat tool in order to test this, so that might take a minute. Okay, it wasn't nearly as buried as I thought it was going to be. Heat glove to protect the digits, heat tool, and let's see. Oh wow. So the edges are crowning. I'm calling it a crown because it literally looks like a crown, but I think that'll hold it in place enough. What I am worried about are all the wrinkles along here. There you go, you can really see that. Mostly that's where I taped it. You can see the tape through it. I mean, there's only one way to find out, and this is part of the product development, so I'm gonna try it. Because the paper is flush, it's just the wrap that's wrinkled, and I'm just not sure if that's gonna translate onto the paper or not. I don't think so, but I am kind of concerned about some of these edges. So I think I'm just gonna press those a little extra. We'll see. So I'm gonna do 30 seconds, flip it, 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna do an extra 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds on each end without putting the whole thing in. So we'll see how that goes. Ooh, oh no. Oh no, oh no. That is not good, okay. I really don't think I should continue with that because I'm pretty sure this is meant for an oven. All right, we're gonna have to take it off and see. Ah, the design is already like coming off. Yeah. Oh man, that was an epic fail. Shoot. I mean, the seam looks okay though, except it did cut off the music notes. I must have tucked the wrong one in. But hey, I can live with that. Shouldn't have used that. I should not have used that. I think that's mostly for like an oven situation, not for a heat press. Lesson learned. So now, unfortunately, this is part of the product testing. This is an unusable tumbler. I hate that so much about this process. That one area right there looks pretty good. It did not press for as long as it needed to, so on to the next trial and error. So it's better, but let me move you so you can see the differences. All right, first of all, it came out really good. The colors are good. Everything looks really nice. Number one, the seam, which is right here on that second maraca. I think that's what those are called. From like back here, no problem, absolutely perfect. Looking up a little bit closer, you can see a line, but honestly, I would be fine with that. Like, that's not a problem for me because it is handmade. Some like tumblers from major corporations, I'm not gonna name names, but their seams don't match at all. I'm pretty happy with that result. I could tweak it a little bit more, but we'll see. Honestly, I'm okay with it. The top looks really good. There's a little bit of fading right here, and a little bit up here, and then some here, but the bottom starts to ghost a little bit. You can see it starts to get a little bit faded around the bottom. So that, honestly, this one is not bad. Again, you would see that on some major corporations tumblers as well. That just, I think if I just tape the edge a little bit better, that'd be all right. If I really taped it really well around everything, I would still sell this and feel comfortable selling that. But it's up to my customer what they want to do. So I'm going to send her some photos of this in a little while. Maybe on the next few, I will tape the bottoms. The only other thing I could do is not do it on an 8.5 by 11 paper, because this is like probably 10.5 inches at least. And so not having enough printed border might have something to do with that too, because right now it's like an exact fit. So unless I printed it on an 11 by 17 page so that I could make it longer, that would be 1 page per tumbler. Actually, wait, I think I could still get 2. I think I can still get 2 because the actual design is only like about 9.5 inches wide. So if I did a full sheet and printed on a full sheet, I think I could still get 2 out of it. I would just need to cut them, which would be fine. So that is an idea. Then I could make the design a little bit longer so that it covers the whole thing. And then I'd be able to hopefully tape it down in a way that would prevent the ghosting on the bottom. But anyway, I'm really happy with this result. I'm gonna do some more testing this afternoon and see how we go, but I'm gonna break for lunch because I haven't had anything to eat, and that might be why this took me all freaking morning to do. So I'm gonna go get some lunch and then I will tackle this again when I get back. All right, I feel so much better since I've had a chance to eat. And now I'm back in the office. Oliver's asleep. Garrett's napping as well because he worked last night. And so now I'm going to do another tumbler. So this will be test number 3. Although I'm really happy with the second one, but it's still like there's just a couple things that are really bothering me. So I'm gonna try really hard to correct those on this one. But I think what I can do, oh, it's too small. Okay, I have to redo it. Little tiny tweaks make such a difference. Can you see here? There's a gap. So we definitely don't want that. So I need to make the design a little bit bigger. But what I did do was I went into Photoshop and I moved this music note in a little bit so that I had more blue space on the edges. And then I added a strip of blue on this side so that there's more space between these and pattern below it. Okay, so I'm gonna reprint one of these and make it just a skosh bigger, and then we'll test it. All right, I think I have done it. It overlaps just the teeniest, tiniest bit. I don't know if you can see through the top or not. You see back here how it overlaps just slightly? I don't know if you can see, but it does. So now, the only thing I'm still concerned about is the top and the bottom, but I think I can work with it. So I can either just go like this all the way around, but I think if I make little cuts in it, that'll be better. It's gonna be a lot of prep for the final result, but we'll see if it's worth it. The only thing I'm worried about is I know that that's not gonna, that crease, that little crease right there, that's not gonna do what I want it to do. I mean, there's only so much I can do. It's gonna have to work. If I have to do this for every single one, 30 tumblers, I'm gonna have to charge extra for tape. I think it'll be better Still kind of nervous about those sharp points. And then for the top, that's not so bad, but I think I'm gonna do the same thing again. Maybe just not as many. At least it's holding it down around the edge. Okay, let's turn on the machine and press it. See what we get. So you can see a dark line where the seam is, but hey, that is really, 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 really good. I'm glad. I'm happy with that. So hopefully if I can show you without the light getting all weird. Let's turn this around a little bit. Okay, so the seam on this one is right there. You can see it, kind of. And then the seam on this one is where the maraca is, right there. So you can see the line, but both images, this and that, are great. It's not cut off like this one is. See here. And then as far as the top goes, I did not tape the top of this one, and it came out really pretty good, except for like right here, it's a little bit faded. But then on this one, you can see the white at the very top a little bit, but honestly, like nobody except for me is gonna see that. And then the bottom actually does look a lot better. Taping it the way that I did, I think worked out. There's a couple spots, but honestly, that's just the way it is with sublimation. That's just what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm very, very pleased. This is still sellable, but this one definitely is the winning method. So I think I've finalized the design, and now I'm going to get approval before I make 29 more. Okay, I got permission to make the other 29 tumblers. Actually, I think 28, because the one that I did do is perfectly fine. So I think I'm gonna use that one as one of them. But I have to get an afternoon coffee, even though it's almost 4 o'clock. I think I need it to get these tumblers done. So I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. All right, I have just done 5 in a row, and I still have like 24-ish more to do. Here's the last one. I'm going to unwrap right now. It just came out of the press. Ta-da! It's really hot. They came out so good. I'm glad that I decided to tape the tops and the bottoms. Like this, you can't even see the seam. I don't even, where is it? How do I show you? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's right in between the drum and these maracas, going straight down. It's hard to see because it's really dark now. There, it's a little better, but yeah, it's right there. You can't even see it. The bottoms are looking really good too. There is still a little tiny bit of ghosting, but that is part of the handmade process. So I just did 5. I've got one more good one I can use, and then one possible good one I can use over here. But whew, it's getting warm in here and it's 5 o'clock. So that took me about an hour to do 5, but I was kind of distracted a little bit doing a couple of other things in between while I was waiting for the printer to go, and then while I was like cutting the paper and taping everything. So yeah, I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll probably work on the other ones soon. But this is like the first wholesale order I've done for tumblers, and I thought I was gonna really hate it, and I do hate the stress of like making sure the design's perfect, testing it to make sure it comes out okay, and like all the pre-stuff. But then once they're all pressed, I can breathe a sigh of relief and just go, oh my gosh, I did it. These look amazing. So it's just part of the journey. Hello. So here's the situation. I haven't filmed pretty much anything of me actually making my huge batch of tumblers for the wholesale order that I'm working on. So I'm just gonna kind of give you an update right now. These are the last of the 15 tumblers that I have to make up for the 100 tumblers in the first batch. Oh, are you saying hi?
Yeah.
You want to be on the vlog too?
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hello.
These are the last 15, and there is the 85. So I wanted to try and get up to 100, and we met that goal. I needed to do 120, but that is as close as I could get. So we've got 85 there. The other 15 are right here. And I am also working on an order of some mugs and mason jar tumblers for a business. So that is what this is. And then 2 businesses actually. So I've got a painter who I make mugs and tumblers for, and then I'm doing some for this business as well. So I need to get those all taped onto everything, and then I'll be able to press them later this afternoon when that one goes to sleep. So I don't think I've updated you guys yet. I don't know what I've said and what I haven't, because I haven't picked up the camera in a minute, but we are going to be road tripping to Oregon from Kansas tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, and this is really sudden and quick. And the reason why we're road tripping to Oregon is so that my husband can interview for a position that he applied for and he really, really wants. Not only that, there are so many different reasons, but the other reason is my grandmother is all alone now since my grandfather passed last year, and she is struggling. She needs more help, and she will be needing more help very soon. She's looking right now for a place where we can cohabitate but still have our separate dwellings. So that's kind of a process, trying to find something in her specific criteria. So the trade-off is she's going to help us figure out the housing situation and make it affordable, because that's the whole reason we left Oregon in the first place, was because we could not find affordable housing. So she's going to help us find affordable housing, and we're going to help take care of her doctor's appointments, take her to the grocery store, maybe cook a couple meals now and then for her until she absolutely can't cook at all, because she can still get around. She still drives herself places. It's just getting more and more difficult for her. So we're being proactive, trying to find the solution sooner rather than later, which I prefer. So that's like the biggest reason that kicked everything off. And then Garrett started applying for jobs just to see what was out there, and one just happened to fall into his lap that he is really, really passionate about, so we're trying for that. And not only those two things, but all of my business contacts are back in Oregon. And so the order I'm doing right now is for somebody that's in Washington, but like right there. And this other order, these other two orders, are for local business owners in Oregon as well. So it just made sense to move back. I know it hasn't even been a year yet, but sometimes timing doesn't work out in your favor. I don't regret moving at all. I do think that it was a super, super valuable experience. I do wish that we would have waited to switch over our car and our licenses and all that stuff that you have to do when you move out of state. However, it is what it is. We'll just have to switch it back when we move and deal with it as it comes. So we are road tripping this week, and depending on what the job says, we may or may not be back right away. If he has to start working sooner rather than later, we'll stay for a little while and eventually in the next month or two come back and load up our stuff and get it on a moving truck. And if he doesn't get it, then we're probably gonna come straight back and he will continue working at his current place, and we'll just see how it goes. By the time you're watching this, we should have an answer. And so I will definitely update you at the tail end of this video. But okay, I'm coming. So that is the update for now, and I will let you know how everything goes. I'm gonna finish sublimating these tumblers, deal with my toddler, and then start packing. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the video a big like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really means a lot to me and the channel here, and I will see you guys on the next video. Okay, bye.